Edward Blamo. I am your host, and today I have with me as my guest the program manager for InfoQuest Liberia, Christopher Allen, and we will be talking about some of the activities of the organization, InfoQuest Liberia, what they are doing in the areas of promoting local government and strengthening local governments in Liberia. And before we talk more about what they're doing at InfoQuest Liberia, we'd like to talk a little bit more about what we are doing at Centaur. But before we do that, we will take a very short break to adjust and be right back. Radio-based communication and information dissemination platform of Centaur, and is an activity of our national integrity building an anti-corruption program, which is a 3 years program supported by the government and people of Sweden through the Swedish International Development Cooperation Agency, SIDA. This program is aired on the station every Wednesday about this time, and another edition of this program is on ECOWAS Radio every Thursday at about this time. And the objectives of the National Integrity Building and Anti-Corruption Program is to increase transparency and integrity of public institutions in Liberia, especially those providing public services. And it's also intended to promote or increase citizens' action in upholding integrity and transparency in Liberia. And what we are doing towards those objectives is to work with public institutions, build their capacities, and also work with individuals and build their capacities around transparency and accountability. We have had series of training sessions with some public institutions. We've had one with the Liberia Electricity Corporation, and we've increased their anti-corruption and transparency credentials. We have improved the service. We have improved access to services at the information to access to services at that institution. We've done similar thing with the leadership of the Grand Cape Mount County administration. They invited us over the weekend, and we, facilitated a training session that helped to improve their, safeguards measures against corruption. We are doing all of those to ensure that we can increase transparency and accountability within the public sector. That is a key component. In fact, that is one of the key objectives of the National Integrity Building and Anti-Corruption Program. On top of that, we're doing a lot of other activities, one of which is our Advocacy and Legal Advice Center. We run this Advocacy and Legal Advice Center that has lawyers trained that are willing and ready to receive complaints of corruption. So once you are in a space, for example, you work somewhere and you observe there's something going on that is not right, maybe someone is involved into money laundering or bribery or extortion, whatever the form of corruption is, there is a platform set up by Center available, readily available for you to utilize. And that platform is the Advocacy and Legal Advice Center. We have lawyers there, they are trained. We have a hotline, toll-free hotline that is available to you. You don't need to have your money in your phone. All you need is a phone that is charged and call 4432. And once you dial that number, a representative of ELAC will receive your complaints of corruption, take down the particulars, and ensure that that complaint is investigated, and the findings from that will be forwarded to the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission, which is clothed with the legal authority to investigate and prosecute corruption cases. So what we do is to do the preliminaries. We will receive the complaints or the case of or allegations of corruption from you, and the lawyers will do their due diligence, will ask some questions and solicit some evidence, and forward to the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission, which is the authority that prosecutes corruption-related cases. And quite recently, in fact, yesterday, we received news that one of those cases that we forwarded to the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission has been adjudicated. 2021, we forwarded a case of corruption at the Family Planning Association of Liberia, and that case has been on trial for pretty much 3 years. And yesterday we read that a judgment has been rendered, and those accused were found guilty of embezzlement. And that is one of the success story of what we're doing at the Advocacy and Legal Advice Center. So it shows our level of cooperation and coordination with the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission. It shows that when you report a case of corruption or an allegation of corruption, there is a likelihood or high likelihood that that case will be investigated and adjudicated. So don't sit there. We cannot end corruption by just sitting on the fence and complaining and murmuring and just giving up. We need to take actions. We need to take practical actions. And that action can begin with you reporting whatever allegation of corruption to Centaur. You need to report. There are a lot of people who just sit and say, well, nothing's going to come out of this. Why am I reporting? I'm not going to waste my time. And this thing has been here for a while and it's not going to end now. You have to take advantage. You got to be active. All of the countries around the world that have succeeded in the fight against corruption, it has been as a result of active citizens' participation. The LACC folks were here last weekend. They told you they have a limited capacity. They don't even have more than 100 staff. How are they supposed to successfully fight corruption in every community? How are they supposed to know what's happening in your workplace, in your community, in your churches, in your mosques, or wherever you are? It is your participation, it is the collaboration, it is the information that you provide that will help them to fight corruption. And that is the only way we can succeed in this. We need more whistleblowers, we need more active citizens that, citizens that are very, very angry about corruption and want to end this culture of corruption in Liberia. And the role you can play is to report. So if you're working in a company or maybe in government or wherever you are, and you see something going on, report it. The number is very easy to remember: 4432. You don't need to have money in your phone. All you need is a phone that is charged and is able to make a call. And you can just call. And one guarantee we can give you is that your identity will be protected. One of the key components of whistleblowing anywhere in the world is whistleblower's identity. We always ensure that your identity will be protected. Nobody's going to know your name. Nobody's going to know that you were the one that reported that allegation of corruption. When you report, your identity will be protected. In fact, even at Centaur, some of us who are staff at Centaur, we don't even have access to, any document whatsoever from the Advocacy and Legal Advice Center, because they don't want your identity to be exposed. There is strict confidentiality measures put into place at the Advocacy and Legal Advice Center to ensure that even staff at Centaur do not have access to your information. So you need not to worry. You are protected. You are very much protected because these lawyers are trained to know about whistleblower and the dangers sometimes it poses to those who blow whistle against corruption. So they will protect you unless you want to divulge your identity. But we encourage you not to do so because it is not appropriate. Report corruption wherever you are. That's the only way to fight. If you're very serious about any corruption in Liberia, if you think corruption is hurting us, if you think it's because of corruption, we don't have better schools in Liberia, if you think it's because of corruption, we don't have better or equipped hospitals, if because of corruption, we don't have good roads in Liberia, then you need to take action. And the action is to report. And aside from the number we have other means through which you can reach out to ELAC, one of which is through email in case you don't want to call. Maybe you're in a tight space and you think about calling, someone is going to hear your voice. There's a way you can report by sending an email to elac@centaur.org.lr. Again, it's elac, ALAC, at centaur.org.lr. In case you like to know the spell, Centaur is spelled CENTAL. So it's elac, ALAC, at centaur, CENTAL.org.lr. You could also leave a WhatsApp message. We have a WhatsApp line. You can leave a message to 0555 722 Again, it's 0555 722 So these are means through which you can reach out to our Advocacy and Legal Advice Center to report corruption wherever and whenever. There's no, limitation to time. We're not saying you cannot call 12 o'clock. You can even call 1 p.m., 1 a.m. You can even call 2 a.m. You can even call whatever the time you're up. You could even make use of the email chain, and you can send an email to that particular address, ilac@centar.org.lr, to report whatever allegation of corruption that you may have. We are also running other activities as part of the National Integrity Building and Anti-Corruption Program, one of which is our Integrity Club Outreach Program. We're working with students at 4 universities: AMEU, Stella Maris Polytechnic University, University of Liberia, and the United Methodist University. And in case you are a student of any of those universities, UL, UMU, AMEU, Stella Maris Polytechnic University, you can join, you can access the bulletin boards at those universities and ask questions about how to join the Integrity Club, and someone will direct you to the coordinators or the presidents of, or one of the leadership of those universities, so that you can join and become an anti-corruption ambassador. We believe with this training we provide to those young people, we believe when they shall have absorbed those trainings, and when they become leaders, they will transfer those values of integrity to whatever leadership position that they may have in the future. So join if you want to be a good citizen. Join the Integrity Club if you're a student of any of those universities and you want to live a life of integrity, you want to live in a country that is free of corruption. You need to be a part of our Integrity Club outreach program. Visit the university campuses, visit the administrative buildings, and ask questions on how to join, and you will be directed on the procedure or with the procedures. We also have our open expenditure initiative. This program is working with county officials and county service centers to, promote transparency and inclusivity around the expenditure of the county social development funds. So every year when there are allocations for county social development, our open expenditure initiative engages with citizens and county leaders to ensure that whatever fund is allocated for county social development purposes, that fund is utilized transparently and inclusively. Everyone's voice is heard in terms of how the decisions around the funds will be made. We organize open expenditure forums where we encourage the participation of everyone, including county leaders, the chiefs, the young people, the women, the youth group, disabled, and everyone involvement is included in what the funds will be used for. We do that on our open expenditure initiative. We also conduct research around the national budget. We observe the trends of the budget, where the spending is higher, where it is low, where the priorities are, and everything you need to know about the budget. We have a dedicated platform for that. We have a budget portal. We publish those reports on the budget portal. The handle for the budget portal is www.liberiabudget.info. When you go there, you will find the analysis about the national budget, previous budgets, and current budget analysis is ongoing. And pretty soon you will see that information available on our budget portal. We produce our State of Corruption report annually. We expect to have one in December of this year. We have the 2023 edition of the State of Corruption report that analyzes the trends of corruption in Liberia. It provides insight on what corruption level is in Liberia, whether it's high, whether it's low, which sector is more prone to corruption, which sector is more corrupt or most corrupt. We have all of those data, those statistics available on our state of corruption report that we release annually. In case you want to access the 2023 edition of the state of corruption report, you can visit our website. It's available at www.centar.org.lr. And once you get on the website, you can access documents. You can flip through the documents, and then you have the opportunity to download the full report, which is the state of corruption report. You will see previous state of corruption reports available there, but you could download the latest edition, which is the 2023 edition of our state of corruption report. And we also have the National Integrity Forum Outreach and Engagement Program. This forum works with governments, anti-graft institutions. CENTAR is receiving support or funds through the National Integrity Building and Anti-Corruption Program from its partner, which is the Swedish International Development Cooperation Agency. And we use part of that funds to support the National Integrity Forum. And that forum is comprised of several anti-graft institutions. The GAC is a part of that forum, the LACC, the Governance Commission, the PPCC, the LERTR. All of those, most or majority of those integrity institutions are part and parcel of the National Integrity Forum. We provide technical support, we provide funding through our partner to enhance the capacity of that forum. They organize themselves with support from CENTAR, with coordination and supervision from CENTAR, and they implement activities exclusively with the supervision of CENTAR. And some of the activities, one of which is the fees posting. The National Integrity Forum has engaged in fees posting at public institutions providing services like the Liberia Business Registry. If you go there now, there is a bulletin board that has the fees for services at the Liberia Business Registry. So in case you want to register your business, you're contemplating on how much the cost would be like, how much does it cost to register my business or sole proprietorship? We have the information available on the bulletin board at the Liberia Business Registry and on the auspices of the National Integrity Forum. If you want to register your vehicle, you want to access that service from the Ministry of Transport, how much does it cost to register my vehicle? The information is available at the bulletin board at the Ministry of Transport. So you need not to worry. You need to have access to the information so that you can demand accountability. If I know that I'm supposed to pay $50, for example, to register my vehicle, I'm going to demand accountability if somebody asks me for more. I'm going to tell them, no, this is not what is on the bulletin board. CENTAR, through the National Integrity Forum, has placed the information on what I'm supposed to pay on the bulletin board, and I'm supposed to pay $50 based on the category of my vehicle. How come you're charging me $100? That is the kind of conversations we expect to see happen as a result of the bulletin boards that we erected on the auspices of the National Integrity Forum. Pretty much that's what we're doing at CENTAR. We're doing a lot more, but we cannot say all. We will stop right here and take a very short break. And once we return, we're going to go straight to our guest. Welcome back to the program Integrity Watch. As we stated, this radio program is intended for you, members of the public, to be active participants in discussions around ending corruption in Liberia. So it's not for you to just sit back and listen, but it's also for you to be active participants. Call in, make your contributions, report allegations of corruption, and take actions against corruption. That's why we have this radio program, so that you can just not just sit back and just complain. There are people who get frustrated and say, "Oh, this thing is never going to end, and I'm not going to waste my time and let the people." That's the people think. Corruption is not the people's thing. It is everybody's thing. It's all of us thing because it affects everyone. It affects everyone. It does not pick or choose. It affects everyone. So we all have to work around. It's not Santa's thing. Oh, these are the people that are fighting corruption. Yeah, then go ahead and fight corruption. No, it's about you as well. How do you participate? How do you join? So call in, make your contributions, participate, report corruption, get involved in the fight against corruption. Join Sentai, join the LACC, join other actors against corruption, and let's end corruption in Liberia. And one call to action we would like to state here is that the government of Liberia needs to establish the Witness Protection Unit as provided for under the Witness Protection Law. The Witness Protection Law has been passed, and that law provides protection for those who will bear witness against corrupt officials. So if somebody steals or somebody is involved into corruption and they were, investigated and they were sent to court, people will have to testify. And those people are witnesses against corruption, against those officials. Many times their lives are at risk and they face reprisals from those who they testify against. So the whistleblower and witness protection law, thought to provide some sort of protection back for them by establishing a cause for the establishment of a witness protection unit. And that unit will be headed by a director and staff who will find ways and means, derive strategies to protect witnesses, whether it is through, concealing their identity, doing testimonies, or doctoring their voices, or doing something that will sort of protect their identity or protect them against or reprisals. These are some of the things that the witness protection law calls for. But up to now, even though the law has been passed, but the witness protection unit has not been established. So we are calling on the government to speedily establish the witness protection unit. Because if you don't have the witness protection unit, how will people, step up to testify against those involved into corrupt practices? For example, I may have blown a whistle against corruption, especially against a public official, and I have all of the evidence. I'm supposed to go and testify, but I'm afraid that if I testify and I may be targeted, especially when there's no witness protection unit established as provided for under the witness protection law. All right, so let's speed that up. Let's set up the witness protection unit. Let's provide protection for those who would like to testify against corrupt officials. There are already sufficient protection for whistleblowers under the whistleblower law. There are also incentives for those reporting corruption as part of the whistleblower law, one of which is when you report an allegation of corruption about an embezzlement, about somebody taking money, and the LSCC investigates and retrieve that fund. The law says you are entitled to 5% of that retrieved funds. So imagine if you reported, an embezzlement of maybe $100,000, and the LSCC investigates and they retrieve the $100,000. The law says It's not what the LSCC says, but it's what the law says. The law says you are entitled to 5% of the funds retrieved. So that's an incentive provided for under the law to encourage you to report. Because if you know you're supposed to get 5%, if you see things going on, you should report it. You should report it. So the government is not going to take all of the monies retrieved and say, yeah, thank you for reporting, and then go home. No, you're going to be provided some of those funds, which is 5%, provided for under the law. So these are some of the things that are meant to encourage you, members of the public, to report allegations of corruption. Now we have in our studio the program manager for InfoQuest Liberia, Christopher Allen. InfoQuest, for those of you who may not know, is a research-based civil society organization. It's also a think tank or social impact organization that promotes participatory governance and social transformation. And they've been around for some time now, and we would like to know more about what they're doing in the areas of promoting local governments and enhancing local governance in Liberia. We have the program manager, which is the right man to speak to that because he manages the programs and activities at that institution. Christopher Allen, welcome to this show.
Thank you, Edward.
So let's hear you tell us a little bit about your organization, InfoQuest Liberia, and some of the activities that you are implementing.
Okay, so first thing, let me extend appreciation and thanks to my boss, Mr. Matai Yenen, for affording me the opportunity to sit here today. Yes, so like you rightly said, InfoQuest is a non-for-profit think tank, research organization. And we are also involved with policy and advocacy that deliver highest quality research, learning, evaluation, and advocacy that direct development perspective and improve knowledge. So we have been around for a period of 1 year. We just celebrated our anniversary in May 25th of this year. We celebrated our 1 year anniversary.
Okay.
Yeah, so in the period, InfoQuest has been making gains. Yeah, so currently we are on a Liberia decentralization support program.
Okay. What's that program all about? What are you doing?
Yeah, so first is we also want to send our thanks to the UNDP for sponsoring that program.
Okay.
Yeah, so the Liberia decentralization program, you know, let me give the background of the program first. So, and political and fiscal decentralization are critical to the implementation of the sustainable decentralization program
Okay.
for our country. We know that because it helps to promote political and fiscal empowerment for local administration across our 15 sub political division. We are aware of that. So it's from that backdrop, UNDP thought to support the decentralization program because as you may be aware, during the president inaugural, or not inaugural, but the SONA, he did mention the decentralization program.
Okay.
So where we want to transition the Ministry of Internal Affairs to the Ministry of Local Government.
Okay.
So it is pretty clear upon that the UNDP thought to support the government of Liberia through InfoQuest. I mean, support the government of Liberia through the decentralization program. I swear they are sponsoring us. So yes, we are actually been making gains on account of that. So we just got through with the first phase of the decentralization program. Yeah.
So what are specific activities that you are implementing as part of that decentralization program? We are aware that there are some changes with the structure of the local governance. Before, we used to have superintendents, and we have other superintendents, for example, for fiscal affairs, for development. But then there are some changes within the structure. There's now the county finance officer, there is the county administrative officer who used to be development superintendent, and what have you. Yes, we know there are some structural changes, but what are some of the key things that you are doing as part of support to the decentralization efforts of the government?
So first thing, let's try to dispel something.
Okay.
So many times when we go to do the engagement, the awareness, people ask us, are you going to take jobs from the people who are already employed? We tell them no. The
Mm.
structure of the internal affairs remains.
Okay.
Right? The only thing is only the nomenclature, the name will be changed to local government
Okay.
ministry. So like you talked about those who are in those positions they will remain in that position. Maybe there will be other amendment later on when the bill is passed and the ministry is established, then where you have the minister, the court of officers, they will come up with their own internal policy to know how to direct people, to go about implementation. So the thing is, where where we are coming in as InfoQuest is that
Mm.
we are basically doing the awareness,
Okay.
where the outreach, we are raising awareness on this, information dissemination like we are doing now,
Okay.
where because we have to inform the public about the transition that will take place because we are going to repeal when the bill is passed, it's going to repeal the act that created the Ministry of Internal Affairs to the
Okay.
Ministry of Local Government. So we are carrying out the information dissemination through awareness, stakeholder engagement, and all of those. So recently we just had the legislative and stakeholder dialogue
Okay.
that was held on May 22 at the Korean Hotel, where we had lawmakers coming in, we
Mm.
had our international partners, we had members of the civil society, and even the citizens they were involved.
Mm.
Right. So they expressed they expressed that gratitude for the fact that those information they were well disseminated to them because even the lawmakers they wanted to know what was going on and through our legislative engagement we 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 we, we made everything explicit to them.
Okay.
So they came to the dialogue was successful, and based on that we can clearly tell you that we are currently at the stage of of reaching out to the committees head of the legislature,
Okay.
for the passing of that bill because we are aware that the bill is in committee room.
Okay. So I mean, what is it that that particular Ministry of Local Government will do? I mean, because we already have the Ministry of Internal Affairs that supervises the activities of local governments across the country. But then, is there? I mean, when we passed or when we shall have passed the local government Ministry of Local Government bill, will it change the structure of the Ministry of Internal Affairs? Will it change some things about their operations? What will it achieve? What makes it different from the current Ministry of Internal Affairs that we have already?
So like I said previously,
Um,
we're not going to change the structure.
okay,
The structure remains. So maybe there will just be few amendments,
okay,
right, to positions and titles and implementation.
okay.
So the benefits that the decentralization program going to bring, which is the Ministry of Local Government, it will provide management,
Mm,
coordination,
hmm.
and monitoring support to strengthen decentralization. It will
Okay,
also help to strengthen institutions to become more effective, accountable, transparent, inclusive, and gender responsive in delivery of essential services
okay.
at the
So
local
how
level.
far have you gone? I mean, in terms of your engagement, there are multiple engagement that you're supposed to make. For example, with the Senate and the House of Representatives, have you engaged with them because these are folks that are supposed to sign off those or sign those law or those bills into law. How far is the engagement?
Yeah, so previously, like I said, we are done with the first phase, which has to do with the legislative mobilization.
Mm,
We have mobilized, we have talked to legislators. So it is based on our engagement with them, we identify champions.
okay,
So currently the project has a champion, we have champions of the bill.
okay.
We have legislative
Who
champions.
are
Right?
those?
So to name a few, we have Honorable Francis Afoko,
Okay.
he's one of our champions.
Mm,
We have Honorable Fode Famuda,
hmm.
he's one of our champions. We have Senator Emmanuel James Nukwe, he's one of our champions. We have the representative of Maryland, District number 2, Honorable Anthony F. Williams.
Mm.
He's one of our champions. We also have Edward Honorable Weir. He's Weir from River G.
Okay.
Yeah, he's one of our champions of the bill.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you're listening, this is Integrity Watch. This is your hour-long radio program that is produced by Centaur, and we have today as our guest InfoQuest Liberia's program manager Christopher Allen, and we are talking about decentralization and the efforts being made by InfoQuest Liberia to promote decentralization. They are involved with pushing the passage of the local government, the Ministry of Local Government Act, something like that.
Yeah, it's a local the Ministry of Local Government.
Okay, the Ministry
For
of
now,
Local Government.
it's a bill because it has not been passed.
Okay, so they're championing in that, and we're here talking about some of the efforts they're making and helping to increase awareness around their advocacy for the passage of the Ministry of Local Government. So you are there, maybe you would like to chip in and say your ones or twos. You can call 0777 285 961, 0777 285 961 to make your contributions or to whatever you have to say about what they are doing at InfoQuest Liberia. The number again is 0777 285 961. 285 961.
So before the call comes in, yes, I don't want to forget,
Okay.
one of our vibrant champions of the bill, Honorable Richard Nangwe Kun.
Okay.
I want to recognize him also.
Okay, let's see whether we have this person. Good morning. I'm fine. Your name and where are you calling from?
Thank you. I'm calling from the highway of RIA.
Let's hear you. Your name.
Thank you. Let me take this time to say thank you.
Your
My
name,
is
sir.
Thomas Johnson.
Okay.
Johnson.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a concern. My concern has to do with those I was recently nominated and confirmed and appointed by the President of the Republic of Liberia as related to development superintendent, fiscal superintendent. Those nominations were changed. Whereas the bill establishing, changing the Ministry of Internal Affairs have not been passed, nor the decentralization have not been done.
Okay.
Where did people derive your strength from to do that?
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much for your concern. That's a very valid concern. We already have those nomenclature being changed at the local levels. We no longer have fiscal affairs superintendent. We now have county finance officers. So how come we are seeing some of the some changes taking place already, and then the bill has not been passed? What's happening?
So for now, the president has all power and authority.
Okay.
Right, to appoint. So based on conversation around the table, I think it's pretty clear upon that the president decided to appoint those people. But we're not going to speak to that for now.
Okay.
Right, until we shall have certain all information surrounding that.
Okay.
So we're not going to speak to that for now.
Okay, so you can call 0777 285 961 and talk to Christopher Allen. He's the program manager at InfoQuest Liberia. They're promoting decentralization. They are working with they're working to ensure that the local government Ministry of Local Government bill is passed into law, and that we move from the Ministry of Internal Affairs to the Ministry of Local Government. So let's take this other caller. Let's see whether we can get this person up on the line. Good morning.
Good morning, my dear brother, and good morning to your senior guests.
Let's hear you. Your name.
My name is Emmett Jonathan, and I call from a Jackson resident.
Let's hear you.
Well, I've been following you guys since this morning. Liberia is a very beautiful country. We have all of the resources that we need as a nation to survive. But again, like we say, and we'll always say, and we'll not get tired saying it,
it is corruption that get us to be where we are today. If you myself can recall during the last centennial, the delegate that Joe Biden sent, that lady, the lady, her speech, I can still remember, she kept stressing on corruption. She named a few things. She said because of corruption, Liberians are denied of education, health, and so Liberians should help the U.S. government. So it makes no difference from what you guys are saying. If corruption must be eradicated or minimized from this country, we the citizens must get involved to support you guys on a national level. Then you guys support the international community on the international stage. That's the only way we can stop corruption in this country.
Okay.
So for this, I want to say thank you so much for the platform and thank you for educating the public.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the commendation. And yes, you listen to the caller and some of the concerns. And what are you doing around engaging with more? I mean, you listed some champions, for example, and what are they doing? I mean, the champion status. What do they do to get that champion status? And what are their engagements? Are they pushing for the passage of the bill, or what efforts are they making? Just sort of how do you derive of selecting those champions?
Yes, so through our legislative mobilization and engagement, so we identify these influential lawmakers
Okay.
who are knowledgeable to the workings of the legislature, right? So it's predicated upon that we earmark them as champions.
Do they sign a commitment to say, well, I'm going to push this and I'm going to ensure that this is passed, this is my commitment? Is that what you got from them?
Yeah, so thanks again to all our champions. You know, they are signed up on the pledge card,
Okay.
where they pledge their commitment, you know, in advocating and pushing for the passage of the bill. Yes. So recently we reached out to them. They gave in their pledge cards where they sign off on. So we know we are making gains.
Okay, so we gradually running out of time. In case you would like to state some things that we didn't talk about, what are other things that you're doing aside from the local government bill passage promotion?
So we are also being engaged with the LACC
Okay.
on anti-corruption and accountability.
Okay.
So just yesterday, our executive director had a press conference, you know, challenging the member of the judiciary to declare their assets,
Okay.
because it is important that every government official declare their assets. So why is it that the judiciary is reneging to declare her assets?
Okay.
What is it?
Okay.
So if you listen to the press conference from our executive director yesterday, we are very disappointed in the judiciary.
Okay. So what are some of the final things you like to say? We are running out of time in a minute. Can you say your parting comments?
So I just want to thank the center again for inviting us,
Okay.
and also our partner UNTP, you know, and our champions for helping us to proffer, you know, in passing of the local government ministry bill. So
Thank you. Thank you very much. And that was the voice of Christopher Allen. Christopher is the program manager at InfoQuest Liberia. And InfoQuest is a non-for-profit think tank and social impact organization that promotes participatory governance and social transformation. They are involved in a lot of things, and one of which is the advocacy for the passage of the Ministry of Local Government bill, which is before the National Legislature. And we're talking about some of the efforts they're making. They're identifying champions, they're doing advocacy, they're doing awareness, and a lot more to see an improvement in the structure of local governance in Liberia and to promote transparency and accountability within the local governments. And that's all the time we have for this edition of the program Integrity Watch. We'll be back here next Wednesday at about this time for another edition of the program. Until then, you can catch us on Facebook, Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia, to know more about what we are doing. You can also catch us on Twitter or X. Now it's called X. So yes, catch us on X. We are available at Centar, CENTL. And we are also on LinkedIn. Our platform is, we have a platform on LinkedIn, and you can visit there and connect with us. We are also on YouTube, Integrity TV. You can catch us there as well and get to know what we are doing at Centar. Or you can visit our website, www.centar.org.lr. Or you can also visit our budget portal. We have a dedicated platform for budget analysis, and that platform is www.liberiabudget.info. Until next Wednesday at about this time, my name is Edward Blamo. I am the Media and Communications Officer at Centar, and I was here ably assisted by Enda Sherman, who were providing technical support to this edition of the program. Until next week, bye bye.